Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to sketch the scooter using line and wash in a step-by-step tutorial. Here is the photo that we are going to sketch today. This is my scooter and her name is Ruby. I think you can see why. I live in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and I use Ruby to get around everywhere, from driving through the rice paddies, as you can see here, or driving into town to my favorite art store to buy art supplies. Supplies for today: a spray bottle of water, a pencil, a 0.1 micron permanent marker pen, a size 4 paintbrush, eraser, palette for mixing, watercolor paint palettes, water tank, and tissue for blotting. This is my watercolor travel set. It opens up, has my 15 common colors in, and a swatch card inside the lid. This is the A5 Moleskine Art Collection Sketchbook. It has 165 GSM weighted pages, which is enough to do a light pen and wash in a travel sketchbook. This is the cover page that we sketched in a previous tutorial, and also the tuk-tuk we did in the last tutorial. Now I'm just trying to decide on where to position the sketch. The tuk-tuk on the left-hand page has got the sketch pretty much in the center of the page, with a heading above and a little bit of text below. So I don't want to copy the same layout with the scooter on the right-hand page. So I'm rather going to position the scooter at the bottom of the page here and then put some text above. A traceable image for what we are going to sketch today is available in the link in the description box below. Otherwise, you can sketch along with me. My family and I moved to Chiang Mai, Thailand just over 2 years ago, and it feels like every day has been an adventure since then. Pretty much everybody in Thailand owns a scooter, and I put together a group of my friends and myself. All of us own scooters, and I called us the Chiang Mai Road Hogs, and we go out on trips into the mountains most weekends. We try and choose a different route and a different destination every time. Although this sketchbook is essentially going to be a travel sketchbook of Thailand, it's also going to be a journal of my life and my time whilst here. I would like to fill it more with the things that I encounter every day, rather than all the major tourist attractions, which is what might happen if I was just on holiday here rather than living. And in that way, it makes us look around us every day at the things that we see around us and to find interesting material to sketch. And that in order to do that, we often don't even need to travel very far from home. When we look around us and look for smaller individual things to sketch and include in our sketchbook, that becomes a lot easier than large panoramic landscapes or scenes that have to fill a double page. Right, onto the line work now. And for this, I'm going to use a 0.1 sized micron permanent marker pen. It doesn't matter what brand of pen you use, just make sure that it is waterproof so that when we put the watercolor paint on top, the ink doesn't run. And I suggest that for a smaller sketch, you do use a narrower sized pen, such as a 0.1 or a 0.2 millimeter. I will now go over all of my pencil lines in ink. This weekend, the Chiang Mai Road Hogs are going to the not very well known Ob Khan National Park, about 20 minutes outside of Chiang Mai. The drive out that way is very picturesque, and the national park is very beautiful once you get there. The nature around Chiang Mai is so beautiful that you don't have to travel very far before you find a waterfall or a forest or a jungle. I'm just going to erase any pencil lines before I start the watercolor. I'm going to start by spritzing the paints with water just to activate them. And then I'm going to make a very weak consistency mixture of perylene red. I'm now going to go over all the parts of the scooter that are red, and I'm not going to worry about any depth, consistency, or variation in color for this layer. I'm just focusing on getting a base layer of red down on the page now, and I will work on some depth and tone and brightness in the next layer of red. Now I'm going to mix up two very weak solutions of neutral tints and indigo. I'm going to work on the black and grey areas of the scooter, dropping in and alternating between the neutral tints and the indigo just to get a little bit of variation in the darker color. Again, this is just a base layer of the black and grey areas that I will build upon in additional layers to come. So I'm not looking for any great intensity or variation in the color here, just a base layer of black and grey. Whilst the black and grey areas are still slightly damp, I'm going to use the opportunity to start working on a little bit of contrast. I mix up a bit of neutral tints in a thicker consistency, put it around the base of the seat, and then use a slightly damp brush to get it to blend upwards. I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the top of the seat here, just to accentuate the ridges along the stitching on the top of the seat. Now I'm going to add a very dark shadow layer of neutral tints on the back wheel. Now in this area, I'm going to do the same technique of blending, starting with a very thick consistency of neutral tint at the top, and then using a moist to damp brush to blend the color downwards. I will use the same thicker consistency of neutral tint to get some variation in the bits and bobs at the top of the scooter here. Let's add some darker shadow to the front wheel now. I'm going to work in a slightly thinner consistency here on the bits and pieces that I've missed, just so that they are lighter than the shadow that I have created on the wheels. I wait for the black and the grey areas to dry completely because I don't want anything to affect the brightness of the red that I'm about to lay down in the second layer. Then I mix up a far thicker consistency of the perylene red and come in again over the red areas, trying to increase the brightness wherever I can, but also to try and create a bit of a contrast so that I can get a curve in the areas that need it. If you look at the side panel that I'm working on here, if you darken the edges and then lighten the center, it does make the panel look as though it is bulging outwards towards us. I'm going to give a curve to the speedometer here by starting with dark on the left and then fading it to light on the right. And on top of the wheel here, I'm going to start really dark underneath where the area is in shadow and then blend it to light as I move to the right. Likewise with this panel under the seat, I darken the area right under the seat and onto the right and then blend to the left, and that gives the panel a bit of a curve look towards us. So wherever I work, I'm just having a look at where the panels are curving and to try and get a bit of a gradation to the color in each panel. And now I'm going to go over one more time, just on the darkest areas that I can see to try and accentuate the redness of the scooter as much as I can. Her name is Ruby, after all. Now I'm going to go in one more time with a thick consistency of neutral tint, just to try and get the darkest shadows in the grey and black areas that I can see. I also created the shadow area on the ground with a mixture of burnt umber and ultramarine. What we're trying to do here with these additional layers is always to create a bigger contrast, a bigger difference between the lightest lights and the darkest darks. Then the sketch gets more realistic and a more three-dimensional look. After my sketch was dry, I went in and did a little bit of red writing as well as a bit of text on the page, just to complete the page. And this is the finished product. If you found this video useful, please click the like button below and hit the bell icon to subscribe. You will get a notification when new videos are shared. And do let me know in the comments section what you enjoyed and what you would like to see more of. Until next time, bye for now.